Hello, everyone. So one of my other packages just came in today. So just real quick, it's only about 6 items here. Wanted to show that to you. So the first thing here is I got these little unicorn figurines. They're in different colors. I think this was a package of 100. There's like yellow, pink, purple. I think there's a couple bluish ones in there. So I primarily got these for like the barrettes and stuff. Then I also found on Temu they have these like little Disney characters. So I got those because I thought that was cute. They got like Stitch in there. There's the alien things from Toy Story. Some chipmunks, the Cheshire Cat. So it's just got a couple different things in there. Then I also found these luminescent teddy bears, which I thought were pretty cute. You can see those. And then I found these little glittery smiley face beads. Okay, and then my next one. So I've seen in Marva's video, she uses pigment paste. She has the metallic pigments. So I found these on Temu. It is a green and black metallic pigment paste. The video or the picture that I'd seen on there, they kind of like blended the colors together, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I do have a project in mind that I'm going to be using these for. That's primarily the reason I got them, but we're gonna use them for some other things too. They do have other colors available. There's like blues and orangish reds and such. So I'm gonna see how these ones work out, and if I like them, I might get some more colors. So that is it for those. And then we're going to get working into our next project. Hello. I am back and I am ready to get done with or working on a project here. So I decided for my first project that I'm going to do 2 molds here. First, I'm going to do the little turtle mold here. And then I'm going to make this little critter thing here. For the turtle, I'm going to use my Let's Resin alcohol inks, and I'm going to attempt to make like a rainbow turtle. So I'm just going to do like rows and like drop the inks in rows of the color, and then I'm just going to pour my resin in and pray and hope that it turns out. And then because it has like, I don't know if you can entirely see it, but right here it has like where the eyes are. And I have these little 6mm eyeglass pieces. So I'm going to use my UV resin to put some eyes in here and for the turtle. And then I also have some inclusions that I'm going to be putting in these little critters as well. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started on that. So we're going to do the turtle first here. And I am going to get my eyes in place. Just gonna drop a little bit in there. And then... So these ones, the eyes that I'm using, they just have the circle pupil. I'm not using like the reptile ones that have the line. So I'm not gonna mark them or anything. A lot of people, they like to put a line on the back of the glass eye to verify where the pupil is facing. So because we're using the circle pupil, we don't necessarily need to worry about that. And then I'm just going to use my little torch here to kind of seal that in place. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and put this in my Let's Resin lamp for a few minutes just to make sure that it sits in place. And then while that's fully curing, we'll work on placing our other inclusions into our other mold. A little dot in there. Place. Hopefully I have enough in there that we don't have any bubbles or anything underneath the eye. Okay. Set that in the lamp. Okay. So, for this one, I have these little glass cabochon things. So for, I think this one is like an otter, and this one's a cat. And then I'm not sure if this one's like a teddy bear or something. Unless they're all cats, I'm not 100% positive. There's no like actual designs or anything that shows like paws and tails and whatnot, but so I'm going to do this colorful one here. We're just going to place it on the back, and then this one we're going to place here. So we'll get those in place. And because these are larger, I'm going to do a fair amount. I'm not sure if I'm going to pour these with any kind of color or anything yet. I was thinking about just doing clear with some other inclusions. These bubbles out. One more little bubble there. Okay, I think we're good. So I want this one and this piece. And then we're just going to press that down in there. Make sure it stays. And then we'll hit this with a torch. So I was just going to pour my resin in here and just place these in and do it that way, but I don't want them to move around or anything, like even when the resin contracts or anything like that. Oh, that's already set. I wanted that to go straight up and down, but it'll be all right. And this one is going to go in kind of sideways. There are bubbles out. Well, I think we're going to try. There we go. Okay. Not quite the way I wanted it in there. There we go. Okay. And then we'll just kind of cure that one. Oh, I need to get new batteries for this. All right. So for this last one here, he has like a round tail. So I found this little rose inclusion, and I'm gonna stick that down in the tail. And then I found a little bow. I'm gonna put the bow right in here, And then this one, because it's a broader face, I'm going to try and put some eyes in there. So I'm going to start with that first. Now, like I said, this doesn't have any kind of a pattern or design on it, so I'm just free placing these. And we'll see how it turns out. And again, I'm using the ones with the round pupil, so I don't need to necessarily mark which way the eyes are facing. However, I want to make sure that they're kind of in the same area. I don't want lopsided eyes. Just got to be careful with this because I don't want any of these to pop out, and it's going to be a little bit of work to do with these, so hopefully I don't mess anything up. And then this one, you get lots of resin down in here. And then I'm also going to place some resin on the top of this to make sure there's no bubbles in between the petals. Just put a little layer on there. And then turn her upside down. We're just going to kind of push this inside. I tested this earlier, it fit inside here. Now it's going to be difficult though. If I use my finger to push it down in there, it'll go in better. Just gotta be careful I don't make a mess with my glove after. I'm probably gonna edit this down. Struggles are real. Okay. Actually, that's all the inclusions I'm going to put in this one. So we're going to take our turtle out. Oh wait, I forgot the bow. Can't forget the bow. Put a dot there. Stays in place. Okay. All right, and then we're just gonna pop that under our lamp to cure that, make sure all that resin is in place. Okay. So next for our turtle here, we are going to use just my normal Tea Expert resin, and I'm going to go ahead and pause this and get that mixed up, and then we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So I have my resin mixed up. I went ahead and made 8 ounces because I'm not sure how much this turtle is going to make. our take, and I don't know how much I need for both of these molds, so hopefully we don't have to mix any more up. But yeah, so I'm going to start. There's two ways I can do this. I can either pour the clear resin and then put the alcohol ink in, or I can put the alcohol ink in and then pour the resin on top of that. I know that when you put the alcohol inks in first, they have a chance of staining your mold, which it doesn't necessarily affect future projects, it just, your mold will be stained. I'm not necessarily worried about that, so I'm going to go ahead and go the route of dropping the ink in and then pouring the resin on top of it. So we're going to start up here, just with a couple drops of green. And do green here, and green there. So like I said, I want to do this as like a rainbow. I'm not necessarily going to put them in the proper rainbow order, just because I'm not going to be that particular. But I also want to spread the colors out, because like I don't want yellow going next to blue and making more green kind of deal. So we're just going to place some drops here. More yellow there. Do some purple next. It's going to kind of go down the sides, it seems. Maybe if we can try and get in these little crevices here. And then let's try doing some orange next. Do some blue. And then I didn't see any like actual straight up red colors in here. The closest I could find, I think, is this. This is more of a pink, it's magenta. So we're gonna go ahead and just use that. Put a couple drops around. Oh, dripped on the side of our container there. All right. Okay. So then we're gonna take our clear resin. I'm gonna do this over a stick, because I don't want to blend all these colors. We'll do just a slow pour. We're just going to try to have it kind of fill outwards. From the center here. So far it's looking pretty good. Just finish topping that off. Looks like I am going to need a little bit more resin. Do my other pieces here. So that took about 6 ounces of resin to do the turtle here. Okay. And there we have that. We're going to carefully slide this out of the way here. That off to the side so that it can cure. There we go. So I think the purple and the yellow did kind of mix together to make more of a brown, which I didn't really want too much of, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how it demolds. Okay, so for these guys, I have these little blended glitters here. There's a blue, purple, red, a gold, green, and blue, and a red, purple, blue. They kind of look like chameleon colors with the way the glitter's mixed. So I'm gonna try these out in here and see how that turns out. So for mixing this, I'm just gonna pour into one of these little cups. And hopefully this will give me a better idea of how much resin I need to fill one of these. So we're gonna pour 1 ounce of resin into this cup. Mix in our glitter, and then we'll see how much it fills. Get my little bag open here. Ooh, that puffed out at me. Gonna have some glitter on my face. Oh, look at that. That is pretty. Just gonna do. I want it to be solid, and I don't know if this glitter is going to float or if it's going to sink. So we're just going to do about that much. Kind of see how it turns out. And then for these little cups, grab my little spatula. And we're just going to mix this in. I think that's a little more than I wanted. But we will see how it turns out. So thinking about this, this may envelop my bow. Not sure how that'll turn out, but I'm gonna put this color in here, and we'll see how it turns out. We're just experimenting with these, so this is how you learn. Try things out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, always try again. Looks about to be 1 ounce of resin to fill each one of these. And then these ears, I'm gonna stick my little dotting tool in here just to make sure that those get filled. And I think we're good there. Alrighty. So now I am going to go ahead and do this one in my blue one here. Yeah, these actually kind of almost look like mica powders. I thought they were just glitter, but I'm not sure. This is, again, something that was given to me by my mom when I first started out, so I'm not entirely sure where she had gotten them from. I guess I could always show her and ask her. So I put a little bit less in this one, just to kind of give it more of a translucent look. Didn't necessarily want that entire opaque vibe. So we're gonna try just a little bit less in this one. Well, I might actually have enough to do both of these. I'm just doing both in blue. Maybe not. We might with the scrape. So this middle one here, it does have the tail piece is kind of hollowed out on it. If that makes sense. So we are going to have to potentially get that little squish down in there to make sure that that gets filled. Get more here. It looks like 8 ounces was just enough to do this here. Now I'm going to get this tail a little squished, kind of try and suck that resin in there without dumping anything. And just to be sure, I'll take my little dotting tool here. Okay, and then because I just made a mess with that, we'll grab one of our little flat ones here. Scrape that extra off the edge. And there we go. Okay. So this is going to take about 12 hours or so to cure. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. Get this video posted with the demolding. We'll be back when it's time. Hello everyone. We are back and we are ready to do our demolding on our turtle and our little critters. So we're going to do the turtle first. So this didn't quite turn out exactly how I was hoping. I completely lost my color wheel experience, and here I did the purple next to the yellow and it kind of blended together to make a brown. So it's not quite exactly how I was hoping, but it still turned out pretty good, I think. So we're going to go ahead and pop this out and see the final result. Here. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it did kind of stain a little bit with the red, but again, it's not going to affect future projects, so I'm not entirely worried about it. But Demold's relatively easy. And then we have our finished piece. Look at that. Oh wow, look at those eyes. Those turned out really cool. Overall, I think that's pretty good there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, but it does kind of have like a 3D effect with the colors, you know, sinking from the, or raising up, I should say, into the resin. So it's got like a couple little swirls in here with the orange and the blue and whatnot. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then our next piece to demold is we have our little critters here. So this one, I realized when I was pouring it that I put a bow in this one, and I'm not sure how well it's going to look because the bow kind of got encased in the resin because I did the color in there. Oh, look at that. We do have a bubble in there as well, but that's okay. Pretty. Look at the eyes. Looks a little creepy-ish, but maybe we'll use our markers and try and put like a little nose and something in there. But there is that one. And then these are the other two that I did that have just the cabochons on the back. Oh, that is cool. Look at that. And then our other one here, that is pretty. And like I said, what I've seen people do with like videos and stuff is they'll take like a paintbrush and kind of like rest it there. Or, you know, if you have your tool, you know, you can rest your tool in there. Kind of keeps it from, you know, if you lay it down flat, you get resin on your mat and whatnot. So I thought it was just like an interesting concept, you know, something to kind of set it down on, maybe add some flair to your desk or something. Yeah. So let's see here. Grab our markers. See if we have. So looks like black. We'll get that down in there. There we go. Took a sec for it to start coming out, but I think we got it now. There we go. That's cute. Let's see if we can get something on this one here. Mm. There we go. Let's do a little sleeping kitty. Yeah. All right. So that is how all those turned out. I think this turtle looks actually pretty cool. I love the eyes. I think that's my favorite thing with it. Yeah. Outside of that, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful and blessed day. And yeah, that is all for now. Hope everyone stays creative. Bye.